Hello and welcome to Sunday Run Day, the podcast. This week, I'm super fortunate and super excited to welcome a special guest onto the show, someone that has a truly inspiring story. And yeah, I'm really happy that he's get to share it. So first of all, I'd like to welcome Kent. Thank you for taking the time out onto the show.
Thanks for having me.
No, I do really appreciate it. And as I mentioned to you, we had a little chat before, and so Sam, recently you've been making a little bit of news, and I've been seeing you in the running world, and you made some news obviously on the Gold Coast Marathon and your triumph. So first off, massive congratulations on that. It was an amazing achievement. But I wanted
Thank
you
you.
to tell us a little bit about why did you start making the news in the social media world?
For the Gold Coast Marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I for the last 2Ks of the run, I picked up my last personal needs aid station bottle, which had a two fake cigarettes attached to it, and basically I wanted to run the last 2Ks with pretending to smoke. As an ex-smoker, it was just a bit of a reminder, I guess, and a symbol of how far I've come. And so I've tried to figure out ways to make an impact, and it obviously worked.
No, most certainly did. And as you say, I seen it around on social media. And I think what, for me, when I seen it and read your story and it kind of like, what was really cool was the meaning behind it. It was obviously it was making the news on the sort of social media on the running world. But for you, there's a meaning behind it and what it meant to you. I think that was really important. And I think that really did come across from what I was seeing. And then also, yeah, to do a 2:29 marathon, you've got to be absolutely, chuffed to bits of that.
Yeah, definitely. I started running in 2019 or 2018, and yeah, I've come a long way, and it means a lot to me to get back to the Gold Coast Marathon, as that was the first marathon I ever did, and that really opened up my eyes to pushing yourself and seeing what you're capable of. And yeah, I've had a triathlon focus for a while, and to do this marathon and achieve my time and go faster than I thought I would, and then also make such an incredible impact and throughout the social media through what I did with the fake cigarette is just, yeah, it's very special to me.
And that's awesome. And I think it is like the impact you're making. Like I think for me, when I see people out there running, we all have those goals and our aspirations. And I think to see different people having an impact in different ways and having that meaning, for you to get back to into running and get back to the Gold Coast. I mean, being such a special event for you as well, your first ever marathon has that meaning to it as well. And I think that's part of sort of sharing that story of what it meant to you at that moment as well. So how did it feel then, the last 2Ks, like picking up your personal water bottle, having the fake cigarette? How did that feel running those last 2Ks, knowing the meaning behind it for yourself?
Yeah, it was just a constant reminder of, how far I've come. And every time I race, whether it's an Ironman or a marathon or whatever it is, yeah, I've seemed to always PB and get faster and reach my goals. And yeah, it's just a reminder of how much we're capable of, and that for me personally, to be able to push through when things have been hard, not just in exercise, but in life in general, and the reward that can come through pushing through and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's always a special moment, and yeah, in some ways, I'm quite addicted to that feeling. Um, but yeah, like I said, it's all as much as it's a selfish thing and a personal thing. It's I have dedicated my life to inspiring others, and yeah, it's a very special moment.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think as well, like saying they like dedicating your life to inspiring others and from the running world sort of community side of things, seeing a few of your achievements, you certainly have that and you certainly have been doing that, inspiring people. I look at that and from myself as a runner and someone that, same as you wanting to always PB and wanting to get better and every way I can, that might be say a little bit selfish sometimes, but also it's about wanting to inspire people. I feel for me, starting the podcast was like that. I want to inspire people to run. It doesn't matter how fast, how far you run, but to inspire people. And I love that about yourself. That you're thinking about other ways of inspiring people. And yeah, as I say, the Gold Coast Marathon recently, just to see that, I thought it was really cool from yourself and something that it definitely will inspire people out there that might find themselves in similar situations, that you have in your past, and see how far you've come as well, which is super impressive.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, really appreciate it.
So going back a little bit, as you said, you mentioned about the triathlons and Ironman. Now, first thing, I'll congratulate you as well. I see in 2024 you were the overall winner in Japan Ironman, and that is
Yeah.
amazing. What I found super amazing was off the bike you ran a 2:53. That must have gave you so much confidence to know that if I've just done that after doing two-thirds of the Ironman, I must have confidence that I can really push my running further as well.
Yeah, well, like in running, I guess once you hit the 3 hour barrier, I think a lot of people, if they do have the opportunity to, they'll try to go for that 2:30. And yeah, just based off that last Ironman, being able to run that 2:53, um, yeah, I guess I thought that I had the ability, but yeah, 6 months of training and yeah, I still didn't know because yeah, I hadn't really focused in running. But yeah, definitely doing that 2:53 in the Ironman, yeah, it gave me a lot of confidence. The only thing that really stopped me from going faster was not necessarily because I was fatigued. It was more just that I start to cramp. So yeah, obviously a marathon you go faster. You're only yeah, you're going faster. It won't last as long, but yeah, the thought of cramps was always the thing that I was a bit scared of.
Yeah, definitely. I've had that. Unfortunately, might happen to myself as well. Like, yeah, you get close to the finish line and you want to push that a little bit more, thinking you've got more in the tank. But kind of, yeah, taking on that step back and thinking, well, maybe I might end up getting a cramp and I'd rather just keep with the pace that I'm going at. Even if I'm not going to hit maybe the goal I was aiming for, at least I'm not going to blow out because I've got a cramp.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
and so I say, like, when I spoke to you earlier, the reason I reached out as well, and I want to talk about this because I asked a lot of people like a funny story when it comes to running. But for me, the story about you at Melbourne Marathon last year is not necessarily just a funny story, but as you talked about inspiring people. And what I wanted to really talk about was the moment that I seen you. So, as I mentioned, me and my wife, Clara, we done the Melbourne Marathon, and I finished a little bit in front of her. And it was actually at the time it was my best marathon I'd done. I was super happy. I didn't go out there thinking I was going to do that at Melbourne. I just kind of went out there to enjoy it. And yeah, I was really happy. And as I'm there at the finish line, I went to get some water, wait for my wife, thinking, she'll be here maybe, 10, 15 minutes time or something like that. And as I'm waiting there, I kind of hear a bit of a noise around the MCG, and I see this guy on the big screen running into the MCG wearing a Better Beer costume. And I just thought it was amazing because what was amazing for me was not only that you ran a marathon wearing a Better Beer costume and done like a 3:22, which is just insane. It was the joy that I think that you brought to other people that you might not have seen. Because I was there at the finish line, lucky enough to see you cross the line. And I must say, it was such a cool moment just to see you cross the line, take off the beer costume, crack open the can, and then just, smash it down. I thought that was so cool. Like, it's such a cool moment. But what I loved was just seeing people around you that you just brought such joy to their face. They were all smiling, all trying to get their phones out, taking photos of videos, just seeing this guy doing such a cool thing. And yeah, I just love that we connected without realizing we connected just in that moment,
Yeah.
like of seeing you. And I was just like, that is such a cool thing. How was that marathon? How was the running Melbourne in the Better Beer costume?
Well, that was, yeah, it's been in the works for a while, for like at least 6 months. And yeah, I just pitched the idea to Better Beer. We were working on some other stuff at the time, and I was like, oh, what do you reckon? And yeah, it was, well, the Ironman in Japan was only 4 weeks before that. So
Oh,
I was just banking on some fitness from the Ironman. I took like a week and a half off running and training really, and then got into it. The beer can itself is pretty heavy. That one was a Guinness World Record official suit, so I had to go down to the knees. It's very heavy and it's very uncomfortable. Um, but yeah, like you said, I think, yeah, it worked out well. It was a good day. Everyone else had a laugh, I would say, especially the athletes, up until probably around 32 Ks when people started to hurt and they realized that they were getting overtaken by a beer can. Then there were some cursing coming from a few athletes around. But apart from that, yeah, it was a good day. Yeah, it all worked out, which was great. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. I mean, congratulations on honestly the Guinness World Record as well. Like, I just yeah, I thought it was amazing. And I can just imagine as well, just as you're getting close to the end and you've been pushing really hard in the marathon and it's hurting, and you see this guy coming past you in a beer costume and you're just
Yeah.
thinking, what is going on here? What is happening to
Yeah.
me? But absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, hats off to you, man. And they say only 4 weeks out from doing the Japan Ironman that is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, there was a lot of encouragement. I was trying to encourage a lot of other people and trying to get them to run and trying to support others. I was like, come on, let's go, we can do it. But then, yeah, once it hit 30 Ks into the marathon, I just had to kind of just be quiet and just kind of do my own thing. I had a few paces with me, but yeah, a lot of the laughs turned into like, yeah, cursing, which is like kind of funny. Um, yeah,
Oh man, that's awesome, and it's so cool. Like yeah, I was just taken back by it. I just thought it was just awesome. Just that finish line moment as well. That was cool, and
yeah.
as you say, it was heavy, but it was also pretty hot in that costume as well, no doubt.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like 6 or 7 degrees when we started, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
But it was a bit windy, which was great. So once I had some water, we had the top where the lid is was mesh. It was still printed, but it was quite see-through. So we'd just be chucking water down, and then with the wind coming through the armholes, it would cool me down quite a bit. So it was pretty good. But no, it's awesome to hear your side of it because, I'm just me and I just see what I see. But yeah, like just to hear your stories of how, from your perspective is, yeah, it's really nice to hear.
no,
So
that's
thank you.
awesome, and I appreciate I have the opportunity to share it with you as well. Because yeah, you kind of have those moments when you're out on these events and you see so many different people, and you see someone that might inspire you yourself. Like if we're out there running, like I've recently done the Sunshine Coast Marathon, and seeing people out there, and you're inspired by these people, and you're like, that's
Yeah,
amazing. But you don't get that
yeah,
chance and opportunity to maybe catch up with them and just tell them
yeah,
that they may have helped you on the course. And I'm
yeah,
sure there's probably
yeah.
people out there as well they're in Melbourne Marathon, seeing you running, and would be thankful that you actually helped them on the course in different moments, and that's really amazing.
Yeah, it always feels nice when someone sends me a message and has some kind words and you got me through or it was awesome to see you. You kind of like seeing a beer can coming after me. It was you're quite motivating and you know to push through. But like the reason I do it is like I would say I'm quite competitive in terms of like how uh with my times and where I'm at with my athletic ability. But at the end of the day, I'm not professional. I just do it for fun. I do it because it's more than just exercise for me. It's it's part of my life, and as it is for you as well. And you're really just trying to strip away that elitism, or just like that. Yeah, just breaking down that barrier and just having fun.
And I agree. I think that's the main thing. As much as we have our goals of, individual goals ourselves of what we want to hit, I think it's out there and having fun and having that encouragement as well. I feel it's so amazing when you have that, whether it's from people at an aid station, whether it's from other runners, even the crowd that's around, just the fact that we have that encouragement. And that's why, really draws me into the running community. I think we're quite special individuals because we love to see other people succeed as much as
Yeah,
I want to run a certain time or I want to do an event in a certain way. I love to hear other people succeed. And I think that's what's really brought me into the running community so much. And hearing stories like yourself, as you say, it's more than just running. Like, yes,
yeah,
running is what we love and enjoy, but it's a way of living, it's a way of our life. It has a meaning to it. And yeah, I love to
yeah.
hear that as well from yourself.
Yeah, definitely. The first half marathon I did, I didn't even realize that people woke up at 6 a.m. to and pay to run in an event. So like it was so completely new to me. But I remember just being I reckon around 15 Ks into the half marathon and being like, oh, this is a bit hard. And then just seeing the camaraderie. And it was like you're out at war and everyone's just wants to help each other try to get to the finish line.
Yeah.
Someone's cramping next to me and like screaming out, and this other guy's like, come on, mate, you can do it. He's like, no, I can't. And just the camaraderie and just the support. I was like, whoa, like this is cool. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
definitely. It's like that though, as you say, you
yeah,
kind of when you do that first event, you definitely don't
yeah,
realize that people are waking up super early and paying good money to do these events. But
yeah,
yeah, you kind of see that camaraderie, you see those people that really bring it together, and there's nothing like just having that, help from someone to maybe get over the finish line or just get to
yeah.
that next marker. Maybe you're breaking the marathon down into different sections and having someone or something to push you on. It's yeah, I really think it's special, and that's what makes running and these events really special for me. I love to see, and the finish line as well. As I said, like I get an opportunity sometimes to be at the end of the finish line and wait around and see people, and it's such an amazing place to be, to see the emotions from different people and everyone either hitting their goals, maybe not making their goals, but having that reason of why they run and why they wanted to do that maybe event that means something to them. And for
Yes.
yourself, like, what was kind of the real reason that you got into running the most?
Well, I used to be fit in school, but then I spent most of my 20s pretty unfit, smoking, drinking, and everything else that comes with it. And yeah, I just came back from an overseas trip and just thinking, oh, I'm just so unfit. I got a bit of a belly. Just felt like, just a bit, I don't know, just yucky. Just felt a bit disgusting. Just been drinking and eating my way around Asia. And I was like, that's it. I'm getting off this flight and I am going for a run. I'm buying some shoes and I'm going to run. And yeah, and it was initially just a fitness thing. And I used to just smash myself. Like I remember that first run that I got in, that I did. I did 4 or 5 Ks and I thought I was about to vomit and I didn't know if I should keep going. And but yeah, it kind of like went from that to, just being like, oh, what am I capable of? It's really cool. Like, you can set some goals and you can, have like a training plan towards it and really dedicate time and see what you're capable of. And then yeah, and then my dad passed away when I was training for my first marathon. And yeah, and then running became more than just exercise. It was a coping mechanism, really.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah,
yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that as well. In that
yeah,
moment,
that's
it
good.
would have been extremely challenging for you. I say losing your dad is challenging enough. And then when you're training for something as well, as you say, becomes that coping mechanism. And yeah, I can imagine how you just kind of really just honed in on that. We've all had different things in life of when we've had those moments. And for yourself, like such a, really tough moment to then really hone in on running and as you say using it as a coping mechanism and finding other ways to use running as well is
Mm.
what I always find amazing when we're talking to people about it.
Yeah, definitely. There's runs where you enjoy it. Sometimes it's a outlet to release some tears or some emotions, and it's just such a versatile tool that can help in every aspect of your life.
Yeah,
And
100%.
yeah, yeah, and then doing that first marathon was when I really challenged myself and promised my dad that I would, go as hard as I could and not give up. And yeah, that just kind of unlocked everything.
No, that's amazing. And look, I'm sure 100% your dad is super proud of everything you achieved. I think
Yeah, thank
just,
you.
yeah, hearing what you've done and what you've achieved in your running journey and with your Ironmans as well, super impressive. And I'm sure he's super proud of you and just thinking that, yeah, my son's out there absolutely not only smashing these events and doing amazing, but massively inspiring people. And that's amazing in itself. Like, to have that and seeing you out there inspiring people to do, to do maybe it's only go out for a 5K run or something, but you're inspiring people to get out there and do it. And that's what is probably the best thing about running is seeing people like yourself out there inspiring people to get out and run. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. No, really means a lot. And yeah, like running, like you just need running shoes. Or even you don't even need shoes. Just go run on a grass track. Like
Yeah,
you really
that
don't need
is true.
anything.
That is true. To get
So
into it to start with, it's just about just need a pair of shoes. Doesn't mean you don't have
yeah,
to be proper shoes or anything. And yeah, as we progress and we want to get better, we look at different things. We review everything. But to start with, just put a pair of shoes on and just go out and see how you feel. And I think a lot of people always surprise themselves. You always think that you can't do something. And I've always said about the marathon as well. The marathon. Not only the run, but the training, you find out a lot about yourself, and you really do, and you find out what you're capable of doing. And you're right. Yeah, just a little pair of shoes. Just go out there and see what you can do.
definitely.
So, what's next for Ken? Well, obviously you've done, you've got a Guinness World Record for running in the beer suit. You've done the Gold Coast Marathon now, sub 2:30, which is amazing. You've managed to win an Ironman overall in Japan, which is incredible. What's the next thing on Ken's list?
Uh, I don't know how much I can say, but I'll be back in Melbourne Marathon.
Okay, well, I'll be looking forward to it then. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
Kent's
yeah,
back in Melbourne Marathon, and we're excited to see you down there for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. But apart from that, definitely want to improve with my running. The reason I stopped doing Ironmans and triathlons was just purely for the fact of it takes too much training, too much hours to train, and as much as I could probably give being a professional a crack, it's a hard life, and those top triathletes are super talented, and I've started too late, and it's just too much training. I've got a lot of stuff that I need to focus on, and so yeah, I think I'm just going to focus on running next year. It'd be really cool to get as close to 220 as possible. And yeah, just see what I'm capable of. I'll still be riding and doing some swimming whenever I can. But I think give another maybe Gold Coast Marathon again next year, and then potentially Valencia or Berlin at the end of the year to see how I can how fast I can go.
Yeah, definitely. And picking those events, as you say, yeah, picking good courses to try and go out there and see how fast you can go. So, yeah, no, well, obviously, I wish you all the best with that anyway. I'm sure I'll be seeing you down here in Melbourne. I'll definitely,
Yes.
I'll catch up with you. I'm sure you'll stand
Yeah.
out, is what I'll say. We won't go more into details. But
Yeah.
now, my last question is what I'd just love to get a little bit of insight from you. I always ask people sort of what advice would they give people running, whether it's people that have been running for a long time or someone that started about running. And I love the question because we all have different advice, and it's not necessarily advice around, oh, this is the training plan you should do. But I love how people have different ways of giving that advice to people. So I'd just like to get a little insight from yourself of what sort of advice you'd give people.
Running is such an amazing thing that I feel like everyone should be looking at more the longevity side of things. Um, you don't want to get into it and go so hard and so fast that you just get burnt out or you get injured or whatever. And it's such a being as a triathlete, it's a lot safer than running because you're obviously swimming and you're cycling, which is less impact. But if for people that are starting out as a running, I would just say take it easy. Don't be so hard on yourself. You don't have to go hard. Keep everything very easy and just look at the bigger picture and just gradually just build. And strength.
Yeah,
And strength.
that's
Yeah.
great advice. It's true. Yeah, strength is a big part of it. I think, as you say, when you first start running, you don't realize how important that is until you're trying to hit these goals and really get work on the strength. And you say, yeah, longevity is a great idea as well because
Yeah.
you don't want to go out too hard too early and then realize that a few years into the run and that things become a bit harder. You want to have that moment of easing your way into it, building yourself up, and that becomes with the enjoyment as well. That you start enjoying your running and that
Yeah.
can definitely add to longevity.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like even with triathlon, I feel like with triathlon and running, I feel like it's harder for us to tell ourselves to hold back than it is to just push. We're in this like in the day and age of like David Goggins and Neb Rockmans and they're all like push, 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 push. It's all mental, but you know, physically, like we can push mentally, but physically our bones will tell us that we're injured and we can't mentally get rid of a stress fracture. So I think it's just about telling yourself to hold back and just be patient.
No, that's true. And as you say, in a world at the moment where it is that people saying like push your limits and all of that, you're right as well. I agree completely. Mentally, we can. We can achieve so much. Mentally,
Mm,
you put yourself in that frame of mind. But yeah, sometimes your body's telling you something, and you need to listen. You need to sometimes go like, yeah, okay, this is the moment I need to take that step back, and then get yourself back to where you want to be as well.
yeah, definitely. I've given a few crazy challenges a crack, but they've all been kind of swim, bike, and run related, or just cycling related, and that's for a reason. And it's taken a few mentors to tell me, and people around me to kind of just tell me to chill out because it is a longevity thing, and you know, as much as I probably have the ability to do some crazy running events. I just need to, yeah, remind myself that I love it for a lot more than just pushing myself in that kind of capacity. And I want to have good working legs and knees that are working properly when I'm 60. And yeah, if I smash myself like some other people have been doing, yeah, I don't know if I'll yeah be able to walk when I'm 50. So
Yeah, that is great advice. I agree as well. You see some of these things that people are doing, and you do think to yourself, later on in life, like, yeah, they're definitely going to suffer from a few things. And as you say, you know that your mental, capabilities are to be able to do some of these crazy challenges, and you can do it. But it's
yeah.
about having that mindset of like, well, this is what I set out for. This is what I want to do. I enjoy doing this,
Mm.
and yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I think quite a few people these days are seeing like, you know, what's more impressive, running a 15-minute 5K or running a 100 mile? What's more impressive, you know? Like for people that are into running, you know, for pure running, it's like, you know, maybe 15-minute 5K is a lot more impressive. But I think we just need to change the mindset, yeah, a bit.
No, I agree with that, and I think we do. We kind of like there's those mindsets of people going out there to try and achieve these, as I say, these crazy challenges and these crazy events. And hats off to them, like really massive credit for them to do
Definitely.
that. But also, it's like just understanding when you really get into running, what is really impressive when you hear these stories of, you say, people doing, 15-minute 5Ks is, it's just next level. And you're just like, oh, I love to see people obviously challenge themselves. But yeah, sometimes maybe it's the narrative of changing. Like, we all have that different journey and we all have those different stories. And we don't have to go out there and try and be the next better person or the next
Yeah.
best target. We just go out there and enjoy it and see what comes with it.
Yeah, and it's all about just improving. Like, you know, it's just you and your body and your mind, and you know, if you're constantly improving, then you know, it's great. Like whatever the
No,
event is.
I agree. Well, no, I want to thank you very much for joining and taking the time out to just have that chat about running and tell me about some of your stories. They're amazing, like really are. And I just think you've done some incredible stuff. I look forward to obviously your next adventures and what comes next. And we'll be obviously seeing you down here in Melbourne. But as I say, thank you so much for joining the podcast and sharing your story. I really appreciate it and really sharing your insight into why you get into running and why you keep running as well. It's amazing.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It was good to chat.
Thank you so much, Ken, for joining. I really appreciate you taking the time out and joining the podcast this week to share such an inspirational story. Amazing story. I really, I'm so inspired by you and what you've achieved. So again, thank you for sharing. It's been amazing to have you on the podcast. And I, for one, I'm really looking forward to Melbourne Marathon. Can't wait to see what you have in store for us. I'm sure, like me, and many of us, we're looking forward to it and can't wait. That's it for this week. As always, until next time, happy running.